Hey all, and welcome back to Speed Dating for Ghosts. I'm Agent Mischief. Let's jump on in, shall we? Hello again. It's nice to see you. I'll just put your name down, and you can go right in. Alright, we did Room of Black last time. Let's do Room of Lyres today. The Room of Lyres looks a bit like a conference hall. The kind you might see in an airport hotel. There was a meeting of regional managers here yesterday, followed by some couple's 65th anniversary in the evening. They left a few balloons behind. Worn, plush stacking chairs are set on either side of lacquered oak tables. In one corner there are wine glasses and a metal pitcher of water, alongside a stainless steel urn for coffee. Ghosts don't need coffee. One particularly nervous ghost is holding a cup anyway. Some habits never die. The bell rings and a ghost appears. Ah! A ghost! Oh god. Sorry. Of course you're a ghost. We all are. I'm still just not used to this whole being dead thing. I'm not used to it either. Nothing prepares you for this life. Except this isn't life. Post-life? I feel so lost. When I used to have anxiety attacks, I focused on my breathing, listened to my heart beating, and now I can't breathe. I don't even have blood. What does that mean? Take it one step at a time. Steps. Yeah. That's a good one. It took me forever to learn how to walk on solid ground. When I first woke up, after I died, I fell right through my coffin. Through my own body. Down, down, down. Into the bedrock. It was so dark. That sounds awful. It was. I will never forget the confusion, the helplessness. I seized up. That stopped me from falling. It was like my whole body became corporeal. Not flesh, just like... You know how if you concentrate, you can pick up objects? Like that. Except I was the object. And the earth was holding me. It was so quiet there, stuck in solid rock. How'd you get out? I pulled myself up, away from the heat below, sort of clawed my way to the surface, through the earth. I felt the rock moving through me. Ah! The bell rings. Oh, that was just the bell. Phew. Thank you for listening. I guess we'll talk more in a bit. Hopefully the other ghosts are as nice as you. Another ghost appears. Well, look what we have here. The ghost voice creaks like an ancient wood. The name's Spooky Peter. He tips his hat. Dust spills off the brim. How do you do? I do okay. I'd wager otherwise. Like maybe you're scared. Like maybe you've seen a ghost. Spooky Peter laughs. Or coughs. It's hard to tell. Oh, I do the cough laugh myself. You definitely are spooky. Thank you for saying so. I've been doing this for a while. My record of hauntings goes back long as the door, since the Black Death took me in 1665. You've seen a lot then. History happened. Wars. Revolutions. Mostly I've read about these things. Mostly I keep to my own. Spooking and scaring. Gotten pretty good at it. Even been in books. Not always by name, mind you, but you can tell when it's me. The top hat, the fear, all hot and sick. Nobody spooks him like Spooky Peter. I try my best. Do you? Guess I see it. The potential, I mean. I can help with that. Teach me your spooky ways. Now. Spooky Peter doesn't just teach anybody. A rock has potential. Before you throw it through a window, what makes you any better? I can pull my face off. Spooking like that may shock 'em, but there ain't no art to it. You go all the way, the living have nothing more to fear. And when they aren't spooked, what's the point? No. The spookiest spookin's the stuff that eats at ya. Makes you doubt what you hear or see. Makes you wonder what could be under that bed. It's never a spooky when you see what it is. So how's that for a lesson? Useful. Good. There's more where that came from. If a legendary spookin' is what you're after, and Spooky Peter's gonna take you under his wing, so to speak, you'll need a solid foundation. It's all about knowing your audience. A good spookin' is in the details. The bell rings. That bell. It means we move on. Guess I'll be seeing you when I come back around. A thick layer of dust now covers the table. Another ghost appears. Want to make some money? I don't know if I like that voice for this dude. We'll just stick with it for now. I can do a different voice if I feel like something works better later. What? Maybe? It's a yes or a no. How though? Not so fast. Let me feel this out first. You could be a narc. I'm not a narc. That's exactly what narcs say. I'm just fooling. No narc would dress like that. Do ghosts even need money? Technically, no. We don't buy things, but money buys something else now. Favors with the breathers. Influence. Information. The living always want the money. The living buy plenty. The name's Leon, by the way. I rob banks. Don't judge. Nice to meet you, Leon. Don't be making this personal. We rob a bank together. That's it. No more contact. At least not for a couple of months. What if I want to rob more? Whoa. Let's start with one. If it goes off without a hitch, then maybe we go serial. Problem with robbing banks? People see the robbers, but you can't see a ghostie. We can walk right in and float that money right on out. Genius, right? It's the perfect crime. There's no such thing. True facts. But nothing's for sure, is it? Except death. Seems to me that makes us uniquely qualified. There's no harm in hearing you out. No harm at all. At the very least, it'll break up all the gloom in this room. Leon looks around at the other ghosts. Yeesh. The bell rings. Nuts. Time to switch seats. Don't worry, I'll be back. We got more to talk about. The second round begins. The other ghosts. Holy, were they awful. Leon's just a creep. And Spooky Peter? That name is earned. Oof. Also, I think I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Keo. Sorry. No need to be sorry. No need, sure. I'm still sorry, though. My anxiety gets the best of me, and social situations are tough. I feel you there, Kyo. I'm sorry, friend. This one especially. Spooky Peter has been around. I think he's actually just dust. My rule? Never trust anyone who wears a hat. The stuff he said to me, the hairs behind your neck know me. It's best to hide in the corner of their eye. He's what I was afraid of as a kid. He said I had potential. If he sees something in you, I'd worry. Go to a medium. Try to get rid of that something. That might be good advice. I'm not a confident person, but I'm rarely wrong. You should stay away from him. You're not like these other ghosts. I'm sure thankful for that. At best, dating ghosts is frustrating. Everyone asks the same things. How did you die? What was your life like? If we were alive, the questions would be like, what kind of food do you like? What's your favorite movie? Dying doesn't make people more interesting. It's Videodrome, by the way. My favorite movie, I mean. Long live the new Flash. Ha! You know it. I've never seen that film in my life. I just thought that they wouldn't enjoy the other two things. Sometimes I feel like a VCR. Obsolete. Out of date. No new stories to tell. I sold my VCR. Nice. I love meeting fellow fans of dead media. So, did you want to hear how I died? If you want to talk about it, might as well get it out of the way. I was in film studies, working my way toward a PhD. In debt. Always pretty sad. I had good friends, though. I was always studying. One weekend, they convinced me not to study. They said we should go to the lake instead. I couldn't swim. I never learned. You see where this is going. I drowned. Everything went black and quiet. I woke up dead in a fancy wooden box. Under 6 feet of dirt. That's when I fell deeper. Like I told you before. I hate thinking about it. Why do I always dwell on the bad stuff? What's your favorite food? Seriously? You're asking me my favorite food? Coffee's a food, right? It's coffee. We could go for coffee after this. At a coffee shop? No thanks. We can't drink coffee anymore. And I hate being around the living. Somehow they make me even sadder. We could go to an art gallery. Art galleries depress me. Half the art is super sad. And all of it's better than anything I could do. It just reminds me that I wasted my life. So I'm gonna say no to art. Tell you what, I'll come up with something. Something a little different. Hopefully. That sounds good. Yay. I can't wait to do something with you. That isn't talking about myself. Sorry. The bell rings. I'm probably not gonna go out with him because last time I picked the first ghost I talked to, we're probably going to go with Leon or Spooky Peter. So I think you get an achievement with Spooky Peter, not with Spooky Peter, with Leon for robbing the bank. So see you after we're done. My spooky protege returns. What knowledge do you seek, protege? I want to know it all. In time. A truly spooky ghost requires one thing. One thing above all else. Patience. What spooks Spooky Peter? Not much. Though I will say, I ain't so fond of beasts. What kind of beasts? The domesticates, hounds, felines. You're scared of cats? Spooky folk like me rely on a certain covertness. I can't just be clanging all about. Can't just be all clinging about, announcing myself. That's not so spooky. Cats, they can sense Spooky Peter. They know I'm here. They know I'm there. If I hide in the closet, they'll scritch and scratch at the door, start yowling, even run around in the dark to wake the owners, I wager. It's trouble, let me tell ya. A real impediment. Spooky Peter wheezes. Something's rattling around in there. Tell me about the plague. The man I was died. I won't say much more than I have. I did my life. Now I do something else entirely. You ever been to the mirror world? What's that? The place beyond this. What the same as this. You've seen it. We're always looking in. The bell rings. If you fancy another lesson, come on by the edge of things. I'll show you around to the other side. I'd like that. Maybe you think you'll like it, seeing it's another thing entirely. Some things spook even Spooky Peter. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. You'll come in with me while I get a third ghost to watch the door. Do you know which bank yet? Absolutely. A secluded branch up on 4th. Bored tellers, lots of older customers. It's a great place to hit. How did you find it? A friend put me on it. He's trustworthy, don't worry. Leon pulls out some graphing paper. I drew the layout in pencil. I probably didn't need so much detail, since we're going in the front door. I just figured it's best to be prepared. Wait. Does this mean you're interested? Tell me more about you first. Alright, fine. I'll give you my life story. Abridged version. It'd probably help maintain our cover anyway. Fran walks by. It seems like she's eavesdropping. The trouble with me is, it's hard not to talk about stealing. I stole candy when I was 9. Switched to stealing beer at 14. Stole my first car a year later. I hit up convenience stores, drive-ins, even held up a laundromat once. I threw my back out, carrying all those quarters. Did you ever get caught? Big or small, every heist has a hitch. 3 or 4 went so bad. I was in and out of jail, but it wasn't anything serious. Till I got a crew together and started doing banks. Even country cops took that seriously. Got me good after 5. I spent the rest of my life behind bars. So you have unfinished business. Nothing so dramatic. Stealing's just all I know. It's a hobby, a talent, the love of my life. The bell rings. That's our time. You've heard my pitch. Gotten to know me. A little more than I like. So what do you say? Yes. I'll be at this branch at this time. Leon slides you a slip of paper. It's been a slice. See, robbing the bank sounds fun, but I think I'm gonna go with Spooky Peter. You arrive for your date with Spooky Peter. Hall of mirrors at a roadside carnival. A clown's face, all smiles and menace, watches over the entrance. Welcome to my home. I know he's supposed to be British, but I'm feeling my very bad southern accent. Inside are twisted corridors lined with mirrors. With only a slight reflection, it's especially disorienting to navigate these halls. Spooky Peter leads you to a specific mirror, taller than the others. The mirror's face is concave, as if to pull in everything around it. We're going into this mirror. Together you step inside the mirror. Welcome to the mirror world, or as it's known here, Delororimet. That's the mirror world spelled backwards. Do you see the eerie green? This is what happens when an image reflects itself. It takes on an eerie green. The more times a reflection is reflected, the greener it becomes. Just like this. That is pretty green. Thank you. Do not be afraid. Nothing here can hurt you. In the mirror world, the physical laws are upended. Am I really here? Or am I over here? Or am I over here? Perhaps it is all of the above. Or even nowhere at all. That's amazing. I thought you might be impressed. I've practiced these skills for ages, centuries. It is not easy being green. Now come with me. The spooking hour approaches. That's 3 a.m. in case you're wondering. Where are we going? We are headed to a brownstone. A walk-up I know quite well. The second floor apartment. In a house going on 100 years. A student in the arts named Paul has moved in. He heard the rumors. The house is haunted, they say. He ignored them. The cost was worth the fear. Together you and Spooky Peter fly through the void, passing countless mirrors in reverse, each peering into a life still being lived. Each mirror in the living world is actually a door. Staring into one long enough in the dark, or saying a spirit's name 3 times, that's like knocking. After a short trip through oblivion, you arrive at a particularly decorative mirror. A splendid haunt. Spooky Peter leads you through the mirror glass into a long hall lined with bricks on one side. There are still boxes in the hall. The mirror you step through is propped up against the wall. At the far end is a massive kitchen with original marble tile that does well to hide its age. Paul is sleeping. Let's get to spooking. Spooky Peter leads you through the closed bedroom door where a man in his 20s is sound asleep on a mattress. He's snoring loudly. Spooky Peter floats to a shadowy corner by the open window, then motions for you to do the same. The curtain flaps over Peter's shadowy visage. He stands silently, hat bent slightly forward. He's just standing there. Should we shake the bed? Patience, protege. The aim is to be a presence, not a threat. Spooky Peter stands motionless for several minutes. Wait, no, 40 minutes. 40 minutes of doing nothing but standing there. Finally, he moves away from the corner. Watch, protege, as I tighten the knot. Spooky Peter sinks into the hardwood floor. The old wood lets out a loud creak, 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 as steady as a pulse. Paul is still snoring. Peter moves into the ceiling and starts to scratch, scritch, 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 like raspy breaths. Paul is still snoring. Peter is starting to look annoyed. He floats over to Paul and peeks in his ear. Some sort of orange foam. It obstructs his ear canal, preventing him from hearing us. Again, I'm thwarted by the progress of man. Scratch on the wall. You scratch with one nail long and deep above Paul's head. Leaves a long vertical line in the plaster. Making an arrow pointing up. A puzzling symbol. This is good. He will most certainly fret over its meaning. The fear this will sow brings me butterflies. I am proud of you, protege. Truly, you are spooky this day. Spooky Peter leads you back into the hallway mirror. Back through this weird mirror world of his. A fractal realm on the dull side of the Tane. What he said. Eventually you reach the mirror that leads back to where you came in. Well, this is me. Thank you for your company. This was fun. I am pleased. Before we return to the physical world, I should warn you. Time behaves differently in the mirror world. What may have felt like hours was in fact years. A decade has passed since we began the state. I speak in jest. It's barely been the length of a talkie. The look of fear on your face. Spooky Peter spooked you good. He dips his hat to say goodbye. More dust falls off the brim. Guess I'll be seeing you. Breeze picks up and the rest of him blows away. Sorry about this one. It was entertaining. Don't be sorry. Let's see, what does it say on his headstone? Spooky Peter, Spirit of Malice, years alive, 1631 to 1665. So he was about 34. Cause of death, bubonic plague. Spooky Peter isn't his real name. It's the one he was given by an author of famous, totally true ghost stories. Having been dead some 4 centuries now, Spooky Peter is the oldest ghost at speed dating by a mile. In fact, he's worked as a doctor, notably treating victims during the last significant outbreak of the plague in London. The disease would ultimately claim him. Alright, I think we're gonna leave things here for now. If you've been enjoying the game, if you've been enjoying the series, if you enjoyed the video, what have you, it'd be really swell if you could hit those like and subscribe buttons. Maybe leave a comment if you're feeling generous. Maybe, if you're feeling even more generous, you know, tell a friend if you think they'd enjoy this game or they'd enjoy my commentary or whatever. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.